Hello. Hello. Can't see you, can't hear you, but hope you're there. Irina, hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, okay, you're here. As usual, I forgot how I managed to. Yeah, it was probably chat. This is where I can clearly see who is joining. How are you this evening?
Not very well.
So, yeah, I remember you.
I'm going to listen to that correctly.
Something's wrong with the connection. Yeah, and you said you will listen. Yeah.
More listen. Yeah, I will try to speak, but it's a bit hard.
Yeah, look, today perhaps it's one of the seminars where I will probably speak more. So it's okay. I was thinking of how to show it, and I wasn't sure how to incorporate.
Hello.
Okay, Lena's here. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Okay. Everyone is going to join us one of these minutes, right? And perhaps before they join, I'd like to ask if you've ever heard of Lexical Approach and if you've ever tried anything out within this approach.
If we what?
I'd like to ask you if you've ever tried anything within Lexical Approach. Have you ever heard of it? Do you understand what this is, or have you come to find out what that is?
I don't remember.
Okay.
And maybe we tried it, but we didn't know it was Lexical Approach.
Yeah. You see, I have a feeling that this is to me. Because I tried things out, yeah, like I was trained to be a teacher, and then I read some articles on Lexical Approach and realized, like, oh, this is exactly what I'm doing. So we'll see today. You tell me. All right. The others will probably come, and as usual, I have different issues. Just a second. Should be at the top, and it's not there. Okay, now it's at the bottom. So I'm sharing screens. Here you have some questions, some sentences. How many sentences are there?
3. Oh, no, 4.
Yeah, there are 4 sentences. All right.
What?
Are the sentences okay in terms of English?
Number 1 is not.
How about
number 2? Possible, but like in perfect way if I were.
Ola thinks no, it's not possible. I agree with Ola.
Okay. If I were you, I think that's the
okay.
Yes, if I were you, yeah.
Okay. Just a second, I want to check if I'm recording. I'll stop and start again. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I remember last time when I started later. So good. So number 2 is not good. How about?
On the other hand.
Okay. Number 4.
I don't have any wish.
Now I start, but I didn't say it this way.
Yeah, but it's too Russian structure, I would say.
Yes, but how do you need to say it in English? Hi, Helen.
It doesn't sound natural.
Yeah.
The meaning is clear, but it's not natural.
So, how
I don't have a desire. No.
I don't feel like doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in English, you would say I don't have any desire to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Any desire to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Only more people are coming. Okay. So we've corrected the second, the third, and the fourth. How about the first one? What's wrong with it?
It was raining.
I would even say it rained all day yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Like it's yesterday, it's finished, so bye-bye. That's simple. Okay, but what exactly did you change? Hello, I can't see you. Oh, here you are. Hi. Okay. So, what exactly?
We changed the word. If there was a noun, then we change it to the verb. Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is what's wrong with the first one. How about all of these sentences? What's wrong with them? Mila, we are looking at the sentences here. Wait. And trying to understand what's wrong with them. We've already corrected them. Now we're thinking about what exactly is wrong with them. Is the grammar wrong in these sentences?
Lexical, because in the first, for example, rain, it's not a noun, it's a verb. Yeah, in English. So we.
Well, but it can be a noun too.
Yeah, it can be, yes, but.
More natural, yes, to use it in this.
Yeah, yeah, it's more natural to use it as a verb, right? Helen, your voice is really quiet. If you can.
Really? No, I can do nothing, but I'll speak louder.
Okay. Just a little bit because it's difficult. It's okay. Okay, good. So, any other comments? What exactly is wrong? So, you said that it would be more natural to say it, to use rain as a verb, right? I agree.
It's like not collocation. You can't call it like collocation, but it's. I'm thinking of how to name it.
If your student asks you, look, this sentence, if I was in your place, I'd. The grammar is perfect, isn't it? So what's wrong with it?
Because in English there is other combination, like word combination for that.
Why?
So we are not looking at it as from grammatical point of view, but from a lexical point of view here. Yes, as a lexical.
What's wrong with this word? If is okay, in is okay, your place is okay. What's wrong with it?
Because English don't say like that.
Yeah,
it's more English.
Yeah, exactly. So although everything is okay with grammar, every word separately is totally all right. But English people don't speak this way. And actually, this is the most important thing you need to know about lexical approach. So thank you. See you next time. It's enough. Well, this thing about lexical approach that like this is what people say and this is what people do. It's enough of what you need to know. Okay. So, let's look at this table, small table. On it, we have the word exam, an exam. I'd like you to think of different phrases, verbs, or maybe different phrases which go with the word exam. Irina, because you're not a speaker today.
Okay. I'm gonna write.
To take control. Yes, please. So, ladies, brainstorm, and Irina will write.
Okay.
To pass an exam, to fail an exam.
To take
an exam, yeah.
Pass, fail, take.
To have an exam.
Do well in exam.
I need to note that down. I couldn't come up with this.
Okay. Study for an exam.
Get ready for.
revise for.
Cram for. Right. Study for. Just a second.
Yeah, study for.
Study.
To survive.
Yeah.
Cheat in an exam.
Revise. If you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Retake. If we can take, then we can retake if we fail it.
Can we redo it?
No. Redo. Yeah, and do well in an exam.
And revise for. And do an exam, yes? Just do.
Yeah, take or do.
Okay. Are you done? So I think it's one of the simplest things, so I also have. Sorry, Vina, I've taken it back. I also have sit an exam and register for an exam. It's like we all work with people who take IELTS, and Cambridge exams, and they register for these exams. Okay. In fact, you brainstormed more than I did, and this is the advantage of a whole lot of people, right? Okay. What do you call these phrases? Pass an exam, fail an exam, take an exam.
Collocations.
Collocations.
So, and this is what all of you knows, and I'm sure that you use this in your lessons. Well, and like in language, there are different units of lexis, and let's remember them. The first one would probably be a word. What's the next one? Which is
sentence?
Word
Phrase,
combination.
maybe. Phrase.
Phrase, yeah, phrase.
A phrase, but a phrase is very general. Let's specify, yeah? What kind of phrases do we have? Because a phrase is really general. What do we...
you mean collocations or what?
Okay, collocations. They can be collocations. If we look back at our sentences, something may help us. We may have some good ideas here.
Expression? No, not that one.
Expressions, yes, and we call them, wait.
Yeah.
Fixed phrases or
Set phrases, yeah.
set phrases, yes, or fixed expressions.
Phrasal verbs. No.
Okay, yeah, they are also lexical units, right?
Compound nouns. No.
Okay.
Compound.
So I would put them after a word. Actually, they have one meaning as well as phrasal verbs. Let's put them before. So
Idioms, maybe.
Phrasal verbs. Okay. Anything else?
Sentence.
Is
the last? No.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that sentence a sentence is a lexical unit. Because a sentence is too flexible. You can change lots of things there. And we're talking about
idioms can be
idioms. Idioms.
Yes, yeah.
Idioms. Okay. Anything else?
Like different sayings, proverbs, can be
Yeah.
metaphors.
Yeah. Sayings and proverbs. Also, yeah, like you say it this way, and that's it. Let's cross the bridge when we come to it. Well, you don't change it. You say it this way. Okay. And in fact, this is what I've come up with. I don't have anything else. If you can think of anything. There's one more thing, a functional phrase, but it's very close to fixed phrases.
What about multi-word verbs like had better, used to?
Multi-part, do you mean?
Multi-part, yeah. Multi-part.
Yeah, so we have compound nouns. Usually we think that they consist of two parts, or multi-part words, which is the same, but usually three words, right? Okay, fixed phrases, expressions, and maybe, what did I have here? Functional phrases. I'm not sure, like fixed phrases, functional phrases, they are kind of the same. Maybe that if it's a functional phrase, it's more, how to put it, you think, first of all, you think of a very specific situation where you use it. Perhaps the only difference. So, if we look at all these things, and we say that they are lexical units. Some people think that a word or a compound noun is not a unit, but a piece of vocabulary. But okay, I think if we put them all together, it will be easier to understand what to do with them. So, what to do with them? How do we work with this all?
Study.
Yeah, we study. And do we need to understand how they are built and how they function, what grammar is inside them? And like, do we need to understand every element in an idiom, for example?
No, because it will...
Yeah. So how would you formulate? How do we work with them? We learn them, but how do we learn them?
Like a whole piece.
Exactly.
Not taking every part separate.
Very often, there's absolutely no need to analyze every bit of it. Just, this is the way people say. And just remember. And why? Because. Very often the answer is just because. Because, like, really, how would you say why there was rain all day? Yesterday is wrong. How would you say? As Irina said, people just don't say that, and that's it. So remember, it rained. And if I was in your place, how would you explain? There's no explanation. Just people don't say that. People say, if I were you. All right, good. For today, I've collected several examples of what I do. We're not going to have a really practical set, but maybe some elements. And I want to show you some examples of what I do. Oh, it's in a slightly different way. So let me see how it works. I can jump between books here. Let me see. Okay, I'm using English File 3rd edition for intermediate, and I'll show you what I did. And perhaps some of you is familiar with this lesson and with this topic. There was a painting, and the students had to describe this painting And there was some information about this painting in a listening, and so we did all the tasks for the listening, and after that I decided to do some vocabulary work within lexical approach with the student. So we went to the script on page 118, and here is this tape script 1.24, and we worked with all the script, searching for good expressions. Today I offer you to work just with a part of it, and it's this little bit, this paragraph. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So all together, shall I make it bigger, or is it okay?
It's okay.
Okay.
And
It's okay.
do you work with it during the lesson, or is it a home task?
Well, with this exactly students, I decided to do this during the lesson because their level wasn't too high and it was difficult for them. And maybe when they become more confident and I will see that they are able to choose good expressions themselves, I will give it as homework. You can be flexible. But here I decided to do this during the lesson. So your task is to look at this paragraph and to choose the phrases which will be useful for you, not only when speaking about this painting, but about speaking, but when speaking about some other paintings or in some other contexts. Now this is a task for you. Discuss this question, please, together.
Together?
Together?
Yes, together. You work together, and after that we'll see.
It's 3 meters wide, 2 meters high.
Yeah, I agree. Late 1960s.
Wait.
Wear clothes.
Wear clothes. Yeah.
In fact.
Expect
the baby. Yeah.
Yes. And the following, yes, at that time.
Actually, no.
Put something into, like to put feet into the carpet.
Yeah.
This was because something happened.
And maybe the last one. What?
Have problems.
Or. And maybe couldn't get right.
Get something right.
Now listen to what we figured out together with the students. I will make a small pause after each unit we identified with them. So approximately 3 meters wide and 2 meters high. They are wearing typical clothes of the late 1960s. They are wearing, she is wearing. Okay. In fact, she is or she was expecting a baby. At that time, he isn't wearing. He isn't wearing any. This was because he had a lot of problems painting, and he just couldn't get them right. He just couldn't get it right. So, was it similar to what you identified?
Pretty similar.
I noticed some differences.
You identified also like kind of the usage of present continuous. You didn't identify that it's present continuous, but we use it for describing pictures and talking about something that we can see now. So you also every time try to highlight this.
What do people do more often? Say that somebody is wearing something or that somebody wears something.
Wearing, of course, wearing.
If we just think about the context we use, like in most cases, or at least in many cases, people would say, she's wearing this and that. They are wearing this and that. So, in fact, it really makes sense to learn this bit as a whole, like not like grammar, but just this is what people say. She is wearing. I could ask them when, but this is the next topic in this lesson, and they later understood. But at this moment, it was enough. Yes, that's right. Did you notice anything else? Any other differences?
Well, you had like complete structures. We tried to name like word combinations, and you named the whole structures which can be in use.
Give an example, please. Sorry?
No, I interrupted somebody, sorry.
Okay. So
can I
The
say?
last sentence you used almost completely.
yes, because it's the phrase which you will use completely. He just couldn't get it right. I just couldn't get it right.
Problems painting.
What did you say?
Have problems. Have problems doing something.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing. When you mentioned it, you said, had a lot of problems. The sentence attentively, you will see that there is more to it. Had a lot of problems doing.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to notice this with the students, to draw their attention to that. Not just had a lot of problems, but had a lot of problems doing something. Well, basically what you did was exactly what I wanted you to do, but I want to draw your attention that you can do more of it. Lexical approach, in lexical approach, like we believe that it's better to use the language like with these chunks, with these bigger chunks, just the way it is. I have a question. Why do you think it's useful to do that? Why is it good for us?
It's easier to remember these chunks like cliches and then to speak with them when they are already formed in your mind.
Yeah, so not to study words.
Them a little.
Yeah, so if you use separate words, then every time when you need to produce them, you have to build a sentence. And it's a lot of work. And if you learn it as a chunk, as Helen said, you already have it as whole. Does it seem familiar to anything you've done before? When you just learn it the way it is, and you don't need to think every time, you just say it.
Sort of a drilling task.
Does it seem similar to anything? Sorry, drilling. Yes, Mila, thank you. And I would say that I was like taught and trained to drill, yes, and I understood why. But then when I went to I forgot to say that actually the seminar is inspired by Hugh Della, who is not the author of Lexical Approach, but I went to his small course in Kiev in November, and since then I've been in Lexical Approach in what I do in the lessons. So, and now I've decided to share with you. So. And when I was thinking about what I do, I really noticed that drilling is extremely important. But drilling is this, it's very similar to the work within lexical approach. Repeat the phrases so many times that you remember them the way they are. Okay, look, we have this small paragraph we have these phrases. What do you think I could do with the students after that, with these phrases?
Ask to describe another picture.
Okay, good. But before that, yes, Irina.
Maybe hide the text and try to tell this text once again without just looking at these words.
Yes, exactly what I did. Yeah, and then we closed that. We trained some time for some time, and then we closed it, looked at the picture, and told everything we know.
Can I ask, how did you train? What do you mean?
Sorry, how did I train? So how did I train? Well, first, we read these phrases because we needed to train pronunciation to students. Well, it's a difficult group. Wife is higher level, the husband is lower level, and they need to be in the middle. So we had to train pronunciation. To correct them, to really repeat these phrases. After that, we closed it, and they had to remember any phrases from this paragraph. And when they said them, I put them down, I showed them to them, then they went back to this paragraph and looked at what they missed or said incorrectly. Then we closed it again. Then we remembered them again. We did it with every paragraph. And finally, we closed it all, looked at the painting, and they told me anything they could remember. They didn't remember everything, of course. In fact, I was participating together with them, and I did it on purpose because I thought it's a good idea to show them that it's difficult for me too. It's difficult to remember facts, and when they see it, it's okay for them to forget. So we were trying to remember all together. In a bigger group, I could probably leave them with this work, like the students all together, but with just 2 people, I decided to do it this way. Have I answered your question, Irina?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, but there's something else you can do with it.
Make up sentences, probably at one of the first stages. Make up the sentences.
Yeah. So the couple are wearing, the man and the woman are wearing jeans. So I take this unit as it is, and after that we take parts away, substitute them. They would say something like, my children are wearing winter boots to school. Or my daughter is wearing a white sweater today. Then I have a lot of difficulties speaking English. I have a lot of difficulties waking up in the morning. I have a lot of problems. Yeah, I have a lot of problems. I don't know, cooking borscht. I don't remember what they said, but we remembered such things. And my son can't draw. He just can't get it right. My daughter can't cook. She just can't get it right. So this is some work we did for them to see how they can apply these phrases in a different context. So once again, lexical approach is like a bit of information, and you take elements off, put some others instead. How they work. All right. Do you have any questions about this bit?
No.
This example? In fact, many other things you do are very similar. But I just want to show you a couple of other examples so you had, more than one image. So this is a very simple part of the lesson, and this is, once again, English File 3rd edition, elementary this time. And here we have can you, The context was the original context was hotel. Yeah, someone was checking in the hotel, and there were polite requests. Can I have, and would you like? Yes, please. No, thanks. What do you think? Now it's from you. What do you think a teacher can do with these phrases? In fact, it's all suggested here, but I'd like you to tell me what you think. What could we do with these phrases?
Some kind of role play, asking, answering.
Yeah, but before we actually do the role play, what could we do? A role play.
Drill it.
Sorry.
Drill it at first. And probably to put them in different in other situations, like in the hotel, or how can we use the same phrases in I don't know, airports, or in something else, like to verify it.
Yes, for example, this, I would say that this would be the last stage of it. Yeah, I could put them in a situation, but before that, this is training. So I keep in mind a certain student. She's very strong, but okay, elementary level, first or second file. I don't remember. What could you do?
Just to put after would you like every time different word, and that's it.
And so the other person in this communication, what do they do?
They will react.
Respond. Yes.
Positively, negatively.
And say exactly what. Will they be creative in their response?
No. Like using yes, please, no, thanks.
And this way they repeat many times this very standard situation. Would you like this? Yes, please, no thanks. Would you like this? Yes, please, no thanks. And how about can you and can I have? Yes, you can substitute these parts, but I did something to help her because this task was very difficult. You could do to help the student understand the difference between the two.
Probably to give a set of actions which we could use with the same phrase, like sign here, give me your documents, or show me your ID, and to make sentences with the second parts.
Okay. Anybody else? So suggest the student some ideas. Okay. Anything else?
You can also kind of make sentences, not like tell her a sentence. Can you here? And she, instead of your should create some word, for example, repeating whole the phrase. And the same, can I your passport? So she has to repeat all the time, for example, this can I have all the time. Like,
yes, that's a good thing. Yeah, it's good for drilling. So can you and the verb, and the can I your passport. Okay, the idea. I'll try it next time we have this lesson. Okay, I did something similar to what you're saying, but I was thinking about the difficulty this lady had. She really couldn't get the difference. And can I have? So I first I asked her to match, like to put can you and some verbs. As Mila said, then I asked her to put can I have and some nouns, and after that I mixed them up. And she had to take a phrase and then say if it's can you or can I have. So, and then she produced separate sentences without a certain situation, like to ask me, like, can you do this or can I have this? And I have to give it to her. By the way, every time I gave something to her, what did I say? What do you say when you give something?
Can you do this? Can you do something?
Just a second. For example, Mila asked me, can I have a pencil, please? And
Here you are.
here you are.
Ah,
yeah.
here I am.
Yeah, which is also, it's very similar to this, would you like a coffee? Yes, please, no thanks. Can I have blah, blah, blah? Yes, here you are. Or, no, I'm sorry. Okay. Well, we were working like when it was when there were objects, we had to say, no, I'm sorry, I'm using it. This was difficult, so we soon quit. Okay, I tried at least. Okay, and finally, as Mila said, we had some situations like it was at school, it was at the hotel. Once again, we all played it, and at school, like we are studying in a group. We created it, and at work, I remember. So we all played a couple of times. Okay. So why is it called lexical approach once again?
Because we memorize whole chunk, like not words separately.
Do you think we actually learned any grammar here while we were doing it?
No, we just memorize. We don't concentrate on the structure and whether we use to, up to, can, or anything like that.
So that's why it's lexical. You really memorize lexical units without analyzing the grammar or each word separately. She tried to understand why it's would and why it's like. It was difficult to stop her. Don't know how I managed. Somehow we did that. Okay. Another example I have is similar but slightly different. We're getting back to pre-intermediate. Okay. I was thinking which levels to choose, and I realized that you have lots of lower levels and maybe not so many upper levels. But in fact, it's the same. If you're working with intermediate, upper intermediate, and advanced as well, the procedure is the same. So once again, it's English file third pre-intermediate, and I remember I can. Does anyone recognize the lesson?
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's a lesson about optimist and pessimist. This wonderful picture, and have a pessimist phrase book, and. On the right, we have a set of news, somebody's news. And here we have a set of phrases of a pessimist responses. You say and a pessimist says. So the student has to match them. Just to revise it a little bit, can you please together match the phrases, match the news and the pessimist response? So number one is done. We're having the party in the garden and it's rain, and go on this together.
It won't pass it.
You won't pass.
Yeah. You will break your leg.
Yeah.
Some money. He won't pay you back. They will lose.
You won't understand the word. Number 5.
Oh, yeah. You won't understand the word. They lose. They'll be late. And
You won't find a
find a
parking
parking.
space.
Oh, okay. I didn't expect any difficulties. I just wanted you to look at it to be aware of what actually it is. So, what do you think I did with this material and why?
Maybe you covered halves and tried to remember.
Later, yes. First, first we did something else.
You studied this. He won't, they will, you won't, they will, maybe.
Oh, no, much later.
Later?
Yes, we did, but much later. Remember that we're speaking about lexical approach.
So break your leg, maybe you differentiated like these parts. Find parking space, oh my God. Pay you back, and so on. You differentiated like this.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Substitute some words in the phrase, like we're having the party, we're having not party, but something different.
In fact, I learned it as a conversation. I didn't focus on any elements first. Look at these phrases. How many times would a person say the whole phrase like this? We're having the party in the garden. How often do you think a person can say this phrase? Well, does it sound like a phrase which many people might say in their life?
No.
It doesn't sound to you, Irina. Yeah? To me, it does. I think I can hear it a lot in films, for example.
In the garden?
Yeah, not in the garden, maybe. Yeah, just we're having the party.
Okay. Not in the garden. Well, you can change it, but in fact, we're having the party in the living room. We're having the party somewhere. But in order to be able to substitute this in the garden, you can first remember the phrase, the way it is. Okay. How many times do you think people would say, it will rain, sorry, or they'll be late, or
Quite often.
Pretty often normal phrases.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. I just looked at them and thought, like, well, come on, they are phrases which many people will say. Maybe they change in number 4. I've lent Mary some money, or I've lent Jack $50. Yeah, but the phrase and the context will be the same. So that's why we just drill them the way we've already done before. Yeah, like first we read the phrases. Yeah, like I read the news, and people read the response. Then we change roles. Then we cover half of them, and then finally we just remember the 8th situation. At some point, of course, the students ask me questions like, what if you'll break your leg? But through the logic, like, what is it? It's just the phrase which you say as a prediction here. What can you change here? You'll break your arm. And okay, it's usually a joke, but sometimes people say that. Okay. And at which point do you think I get to grammar analysis? I do get to grammar analysis here, but at which point do you think?
Probably after drilling, after all this day.
Memorizing.
Yes. And if, once again, we think about lexical approach, if we think about this like what these two techniques. Why do you think it's useful to do it this way, not the other way around, which Lena probably suggested? Yeah, like analyze the grammar.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think it's good this way?
Because we are already used to this grammar and it sounds already familiar.
Mm-hmm. And
probably it also helps to concentrate on the meaning at first and only after that on the grammar. Because if you do it vice versa, the person concentrates on the grammar and just, like puts his attention away from the meaning and the context and the using.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've already worked with the meaning. They're already familiar with it. More than that, they'll already be able to reproduce the whole bits of this grammar. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The only thing they need to do now is to understand the way it's built, and it's just will and won't, right? And then substitute bits of this structures with something else. And you know that they are provided with not maybe lots of practice, but with enough practice in this book and in any other resources. Practice proves, like first when I was starting to work with students and when I was first suggested to do it this way, I didn't know actually it was lexical approach. I didn't know that like what I'm doing was that. But like first I didn't believe that it may prove. But then I compared the two. Yeah, like first we actually we learn to use it, and only after that we analyze it and see how we can use the same in different situations. So it really proved more efficient, and students having drilled this will have fewer difficulties. Mm-hmm. So practice shows. So these are the main examples I wanted to show you. Tell me who of you works with business English students?
I work.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. How much of lexical approach do you think there is in business English course books?
A lot, because grammar
yes,
is
more
still...
than grammar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So somehow, and I have an example from Market Leader here, just to show you, like really many lessons in business English books are based on typical situations. People say typical things. This one, for example, is taking part in meetings. And I just love this lesson, and I use it with all sorts of students with different levels, because it's a great collection of useful language for meetings: interrupting, dealing with interruptions, asking for clarification, making proposals, clarifying, rejecting proposals, asking for clarifications, clarifying, and making proposals, rejecting proposals. So it's a great collection, and actually if you want to help your students learn a lot of functional language, my advice is to look for such functional language in business English books.
Mm-hmm.
Lena and Helen said that there isn't as much grammar because, well, the idea behind business English books is that first you cover a course book in, say, B1 level, like general English, and after that you revise grammar a little bit, and most of what you learn is the lexics. Mm-hmm. The phrases typical in different situations.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of it, and once again we just remember this phrases as like complete bits of information.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What if we speak about children? Say younger learners, like 6, 7, 8, 9. What role do you think lexical approach may have in teaching them?
It's the most important, I think, approach in teaching English children.
Why?
Because they don't have any idea what grammar, like they even don't understand their like native grammar at this age, and to understand English grammar is like something. So that's why it's like whole phrases are studied with them without identifying why it is like this, just because to memorize.
Yeah, they memorize. I completely agree with what Lena has just said, and like the younger the learners, cognitive skills they have. And cognitive skills mean that they can understand how the phrase is built. And this means they can't understand how it's built. So when with younger learners, please don't torture poor things. Tell them what to say and ask them to repeat many times. And just I've seen teachers who are trying to really make them analyze something, and I read that really like real cognitive skills are developed starting from 12 maybe.
And later maybe even sometimes, depends again.
Of course, all children differ, but before they are 10, they are skilled to understand how it's built. It's so poor that, it's much easier and much more efficient to just give them the phrase and tell them to repeat and put them in different situations and substitute bits of this phrase. Yes, like I can jump, I can't jump. I can swim, I can run, I can this or that. And they will be grateful for not having to understand how it's really done. Okay, and finally, so these were different examples, and finally, I want to show you a set of questions. Just a second, I need to find it. Where is it? Here. A set of questions which Jim Scrivener in his book Learning Teaching, 3rd edition, 8, which is called Teaching Lexis. This set of questions is suggested for you to be able to analyze lexical items. And basically, this is what this is a set of questions which you can use when preparing for a lesson when you want to focus on lexical approach. Please look at these questions and see how much of this you actually do in your lessons. Okay. Ola's connection is not stable. Keeps disappearing.
I believe that answering these questions depends on lexical item we are working with.
Sure.
So we do, I'm sure, everybody, yes, we do all the things, but it really depends which item we discuss. So word and metaphor, they're really different. We work with them differently.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. I don't know what happened. Sorry. I have difficulty speaking today. So does anybody else have any comments here?
Well, and I think it also depends on the level on which we can use this tips. Like probably using it on the elementary, it's not, well, you can't properly use this approach. Yeah, probably starting with the pre-intermediate, it is effective, like to develop some the knowledge of synonyms and different options.
How much of it do you already do in your lessons, Mila?
I think, well, it's not like I ask these questions. Usually I just suggest different options, but sometimes I ask them. Well, I think like maybe 60% of that I do. Consideration.
Okay.
Kind of the one that we did with exam, yes, at the beginning of the lesson, yeah. So we came up with different, so what other lexical items can be formed by adding or taking away beats, yes. So we added some other verbs that can be used with exam, and sometimes, yeah, we do that with students as well. So what other phrases can we make with this word, for example? This way too, definitely.
Okay. All right. I was trying to lead you to the, well, first to see perhaps there are some aspects which you haven't thought of, yeah, like when you presented some lexical bits, perhaps you are leaving out some of this elements. And in pure lexical approach, you would work like this with most, if not all, lexical items in your lesson. But we usually combine the normal curriculum with a focus on lexis within this lexical approach. And frankly, once again, when I started focusing more on lexis, I found that, well, it is beneficial for my students. Yes, it's true, it takes more time. But after that, the result is so good, and the students really acquire some of the phrases and they use them so naturally. Yeah, like they've just remembered them and they use them the way they've remembered them. That I think it's worth at least trying and including at least elements of work in lexical approach in your lessons. Okay. Yeah. So I think that it enriched my work with my students, and I hope that the same will happen in your lessons.
Definitely.
You'll find different ways you could do this.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and we'll see you at our meetings.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.